All right, welcome back to the KFYR Plus News Desk. And joining me right now from the North Dakota State Archives is Matthew Eli and Emily Kabishta. Welcome, both of you. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having us.
You got it. Oh, Emily, can we hear you?
Hello, can you
There,
hear me? Thanks for having
there
us
we
on.
go. Now
I think I
we've
was
got
muted.
you. Well, I've got you both on today to talk about preserving your family's history. Now, I know that there is a workshop on this topic that is planned for tomorrow evening at the Heritage Center, but I think that is completely booked up with participants. So thankfully, you both took some time today to help us with a few points to get us going. And Matthew, we'll start with you. What inspired the State Historical Society to offer these type of workshops?
People are always kind of interested in organizing their family history and keeping things straightened out, whether it's something they're actively doing or whether someone has passed away and they're trying to go through their things and organize them at that point. So it's a thing we're glad to do to help out and kind of help people organize their personal family history collections, whether it's something for their own enjoyment or something that might come to us for the public to work with in the future.
Okay. So, Emily, what are some of the expert techniques that are going to be taught in this Preserving Your Family's History Collection workshop?
So we'll cover some basic principles of preservation, such as where to store collections, considerations as far as damage to collections, how to organize, how to sort of identify what you have and the particular formats that might need special care.
In 50 words or less, what's the best way to organize, Emily, and store and protect these treasures that you might have?
It's a very difficult question, actually, because how you care for your collection depends on what you have, your resources, and how you plan to use it. And we'll be covering sort of some of those variables while also providing general principles that we go by. So it's not really a clear-cut answer. It really depends on how a person intends to use them. Do they just want it preserved and stored? Do they anticipate it might come to an institution like the state archives? Do they want to be able to share digital files with family? Do they want to be able to sit and look through an album? There's a lot of things to consider before someone embarks on starting to organize their family collection. So we'll get at some of that pre-planning, some of those questions that need to be considered.
Okay. So, Matt, what are some of the common challenges that people may face when preserving their history of family, and how do these workshops help you address them?
I would say some of the big ones are people wondering what exactly they should be keeping, what's important to preserve, and we can help with that. And obviously, that answer also depends on what your intended use for your family history collection would be. And then another one is how to best store things, which again kind of depends on how exactly you depend on using it. But we can give you tips on a variety of different ways, whether you're using it a lot or if it's just something where you want to protect it and use it sort of sparingly,
Okay.
or if it's destined to come somewhere like here.
Emily, creating an online archive of family photos and documents on a web hosted platform to share with family members. Is this something that the workshop maybe can help out with?
We will definitely touch on that. We'll touch on the pros and cons of digitizing your collection or items within your collection, and digitization as a way of sharing or indexing your collection and providing that online as a way of sharing your collection. We'll talk about some of the concerns about storing digital files and maintaining digital files, but also the benefits of being able to share those a little bit more freely.
So, Matt, what are some simple steps people can take at home to start preserving their family history?
Some of the big things would be to kind of make sure you've got a sort of an order to your collection, which it again depends on how exactly you want to access it and handle it and that sort of thing. But having some sort of order and inventory, that sort of thing is very important. And then just making sure it's stored appropriately is another big one, and we'll go over some of the tips for that to make sure your collection stays safe.
Okay. Emily, let's say a family member passes away. What should we keep and what can we toss? Those are always brought up. Will this be addressed at the workshop?
It will. And that's actually something that we hear quite frequently here at the state archives. People are often overwhelmed. Maybe someone in the family has died and they're just not sure how to go through that person's belongings. Maybe they want to donate, they're just not sure. Um, and so my answer goes back to what I was saying before, that it really depends. We recommend preserving and saving items that document who that person was and what they did during their life, but the intended use for the collection really will drive what is kept. But we will definitely be touching on that, sort of prioritizing which items should be kept and focused on, especially when it comes to preserving fragile or damaged items.
Okay. Matt, are there any common mistakes that people make when storing photos or documents that this workshop aims to help correct?
I guess a lot of times people sometimes are not quite as careful handling photos and documents as they should be, and we'll touch on that. And then I guess another thing would be storage. Sometimes people are storing things improperly, whether they're out in the light for extended periods of time, which is not good for the long term uh,
Yeah.
condition of photos and documents and that sort of thing. But we'll touch on a couple of big things you want to avoid like that.
All right. And Emily, plans for additional workshops or resources maybe in the future to help those continue to preserve their family history?
So we've been offering these workshops, the Preserving Your Family collection, on and off. We took a little break around COVID, but we were offering it the last few years, and we plan to continue offering this into the future. We don't have any dates set, but we're looking at different formats, like maybe a Zoom training for those who can't travel to Bismarck, or maybe some daytime on site or weekend times as well. So we'll definitely be offering it. As well as other workshops. There's an oral history workshop being offered as well by our colleagues. So there's always something happening at the archives, and just stay tuned for future programs.
Okay. And Matt, what resources does the State Historical Society offer for those who want to delve deeper into their family history after the workshop?
We've got all of our collections, whether it's manuscript collections, photo collections, government records that might have naturalization records or that sort of things. We've really got a wealth of resources that can help people find out more about their family history and kind of delve into genealogy.
Okay. And finally, Emily, what are the benefits of donating family collections to the North Dakota State Archives?
So that's actually another question that we get asked a lot. Some of the benefits are that you know that your collection will be preserved for future generations, and that current researchers can access the materials. Um, I think donating to the archives means that they will be preserved according to professional standards, by professional archivists. They'll be inventoried and sometimes digitized to be made publicly accessible. But it's just a way of knowing that your family's history will be preserved and made accessible now and into the future.
Oh, fantastic, Matthew, Eli, Emily Kabishka. Thank you so much for the insight today. I sure appreciate it, and the viewers do as well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You got it. All right, 1237 here at the news desk. Let's take a quick break here at KFYR Plus. We'll be right back with the day's top headlines next on KFYR Plus.